Shadows play a huge role in CSGO. You can use it to your advantage pretty easily. Every map has a different way the shadows spin, depends on the sun, I guess. I'm not even sure if it lines up. For Overpass it does line up, but I think there's some maps where it doesn't. We're going to take a look at today some of the best spots for using the shadows to your advantage. I'm going to go through each map. So Overpass here to start off with. This corner here, the bot's out a bit too far, but you get what I mean here. See the shadow, you can start pre-firing them. Same thing over here at long. As they're coming around, you can see the shadow here and pre-fire them. Another angle you'll see players often play is this one here. Again, easy to pre-fire players as they come around this corner, take them out. In here as well, holding this kind of angle, might be a little bit hard because of the other foliage, but you can see that's his shadow there, so if you're holding out like this or something, you can pre-fire him pretty easily. Last one, over towards the A site here. It's out here, you can see shadows both this way. Again, a little bit harder with all the tree shadow on the floor, on the back there. Not many players play up there, but you can still take them out pretty easily, pre-firing them as their shadows show. For B site, the most useful one I could find was this one here. See the player coming out of monster a little bit earlier if they come out within this range. Also the potential for this one here, but I mean, it's not really at a useful angle. I mean, you're not really going to hold angles like this. One thing to note is as you back off, I've got everything set to high here, all my settings on high. If you back off, the shadow starts to fade. So if you're playing all the way back here with an AWP or something, yes, you can see it a little bit earlier, but it's going to be harder to see. And obviously most players don't play on high as it is. Cobblestone is probably the best example of how well these shadows can work. See here in Cobblestone, where the light works, the shadows are really long, so you can pre-fire really well. This long corner here is a good one. You can see their shadow coming through and just pre-fire them. The most powerful one in the whole game, in my opinion, is this one on the barrel. It's a good angle for holding this long position. You can pre-fire anyone coming out. You see players like AZ do this a lot. If you haven't seen it, I have a Cobblestone video on that, locking down the A side like the pros do. In particular, AZ and config. This one here, you can see anyone pre-firing here. You might be, well, you're going to get stuck here. They're going to try and wrap onto you. You can return the pre-fire because they're definitely going to pre-fire you. Give yourself a little bit of a better chance. Same with here. If you're in this back corner, you can see the shadows. Another one where you can try and return the pre-fire is if anyone's going to peek you here and they know you're here. See the shadows coming. Obviously up there it's a bit hard, but you can pre-fire this. One more cheeky one is if they're going to try and push vent here, you can see their shadow way before. If they're going to try and crouch walk or slow walk in, you can pre-fire them. On cache, way less useful. As you can see, look how short the shadows are compared to Cobblestone. A couple of ones maybe is this one in mid, you maybe get an extra half a second advantage or whatever. If they're pushing you white box again, if you're falling back, you can maybe see this shadow, give them a little bit of a pre-fire. And the last one, probably the most useful one, is at quad here. If you're maybe retaking, you can see that they're about to PQ with this shadow coming. That's probably the only super useful one for cache. So for Inferno, shadow is very small. The only real use for it is checking this spot here. If you're coming out as the T side, you can see anyone trying to hide behind this pillar and play one of these off angles towards middle or whatever. Obviously the bot's a little bit to the left for this one, but you can do the same for middle. And yeah, really just useful to see if anyone's trying to hold an angle like this or something, you can work out that they're there and deal with them. Again, very shallow shadows on Mirage. One useful one is maybe if they want to creep up in the middle, if you're holding an angle like this, they just try and slip past, you can maybe see their shadow, and if they don't push any further, you can know they're in this corner. The other one is, if you already have a big enough advantage holding this kind of angle, if everyone coming through vent, you can actually see their shadow a little bit as they're coming through as well. Train, there isn't really anywhere useful. Some people try to argue that you could see people playing out here, but to me this is a lot of rubbish because you're not going to be playing out super wide like this. You're going to be playing back on an angle where you can get this first kill and fall off. You'll see the position I'm playing at is going to be around here, where when I'm lining up this guy's over to the wall, you're not really going to see shadow over the edge. So really on train there isn't anywhere. Obviously for Nuke, most of it's indoors, but there are a couple here. Maybe anyone coming out here, you can get a pre-angle on them, see them coming out a little bit early if you manage to push up aggressively on the CT side. And also if you're holding out of a hut here or something, you might get a little bit more aggressive. Outside mini, if you see anyone, you can just get this slight little bit of extra advantage. Same with if maybe holding super aggressive, you can see anyone in this kind of area, you can maybe use the shadow to your advantage when playing these angles. So as I'm sure you've worked out, Cobble and Overpass are probably the best ones for using these shadows. But be aware of what you're doing with these shadows as well, not just punching other players. One thing I actually haven't seen done, but I'd like to see maybe interestingly, is after you've cleared out these angles and you are swinging out here, maybe just show them your shadow. I mean, it's like an overpowered jiggle peek, isn't it? You'd be like, here's my shadow. See if they bait off a couple of shots and you know they're there. And with an angle like that, they're not really going to go anywhere. But yeah, that's it for this one. Make sure to subscribe if you're not, and I'll see you in the next one for more demo reviews.